Hello everyone, and welcome to my Q&A blog. So let's go ahead and get started, and let me go back to the blog where you all asked me questions. And I will answer them in the order that they have been asked. So Randolph asks, does the Vita square button feel funky? I don't want to tell an architect where to put his gate or anything, but those square buttons on the PSP bothered me. Well, that's a good question, and let's all keep in mind that the Japanese PSP had the real square button problems. They fixed the problem for the American PSPs, but everything feels nice and firm. There's no real sticking. Controls for the Vita is pretty solid, so that should give you a little peace of mind there, Randolph. Ali Crombie asks, why do I hate your Vita? Well, two reasons. One, there's no RTSs for it just yet, and two, because you don't have one. Next one is Nintendo Boy 16. He asks, if you had to pick your most favorite fighting game characters, who would they be? That's a good question. I haven't really been into fighters lately, but from what I remember, from the Soul Calibur series, I really loved Maxi. From the Dead or Alive series, I really loved Bayman. Let's see, Tekken. I really love Nina. I really enjoy the grapplers, the ones that can just kind of chain throws that you can't escape from. From Street Fighter, the most recent entry would have been Super Street Fighter 4, and I would have picked Gen because he's pretty tricky to use, kind of hard to read, pretty interesting to play. Guild Claws asks, favorite user? I just don't have any favorites, to be honest. I don't really expect to be considered a favorite user by anybody, therefore I can't really consider anybody a favorite user. Lotus Edge asks, if you were a master of the Force, what would be the first thing you'd do? Well, if I was a Jedi... no, I don't want to be a Jedi. Let's say if I was a Sith, I just pretty much go around killing random people. Yeah, just imagine me in like a Grand Theft Auto game where I'm just riding around on my speeder, just randomly killing people with my choke powers. That's probably what I do. Renegade Patriot asks, what do you expect from E3 this year? A goddamn date for The Last Guardian. That's all I want. I mean, I don't really care about anything else except for The Last Guardian. I haven't really followed E3s very closely. I usually my ears kind of perk up a bit as E3 comes, as videos start unrolling, but beforehand, I'm just really not that excited about E3. Now, I'm not too sure how to pronounce this. I guess it looks like Hazik on Fire. Please correct me if I'm wrong. He asks, why GameSpot? GameSpot was pretty much the first video game website that I discovered back when the internet really started taking off. It's like in 1996 or 97. We went to a search engine and I looked up video games, and the first thing that came up was videogames.com, which was GameSpot's old domain name. GameSpot, videogames.com covered the console systems and the handheld systems. GameSpot.com covered PC games. So I can't remember exactly when it was, what year it was, but they two combined, and it's now known as the GameSpot that we know today. So that's why GameSpot. Armored Core 55 asks several questions, actually. Favorite rock bands? Not my genre. Favorite GS moderator? See favorite user. Least favorite genre of music? It's a cross between country and heavy metal. Favorite food? Pizza, I guess. I mean, that's probably one of the things that I consume most often than anything else. Maybe hamburgers. Or bacon cheeseburgers. And what would you do with $1 million? I think what I do is I get the essentials out of the way. I just get myself a decent car. I don't know, maybe like a $50,000 car. Then get a $300,000 home. And probably put $500,000 into the bank and just live off the interest. And then just go wild with the leftovers. Maybe I might donate something to to a charity, or maybe to the Library Friends Association, something like that, since I work with the library and I know that they need extra money. Hot Diddy Kong asks, I have to go with the same question as Renegade. What do you expect from E3 considering the many rumors? And with a guess, what do you think would surprise you at E3? Because many times the unexpected happens. Well, let me go ahead and revisit Renegade's question. I guess if I have to expect anything, I would expect a price and a confirmed date for the Wii U, and we all know that's probably going to be coming. I'm guessing it's going to be slotted somewhere in November, and I'm guessing the price will be $300. I know everybody wants it for $250 because that's what the Wii was, but I'm thinking that tablet controller is going to run up the price a little bit. As far as anything unexpected, I don't know. Anything can happen. I guess Sega announcing that they're going to make hardware again, that would probably be the most unexpected thing I could think of, but we all know that's not going to happen. Iridescent 406 asks, do you like linearity in games? Well, that depends on the type of game. Let's take for instance Uncharted. Those games, pretty much you only have one way to kind of climb up a wall or to go around an obstacle, other things like that. So that kind of linearity kind of works because it keeps the pace of the game moving. If you had like an open world Uncharted, I think a lot of people would kind of be a little bored of it because they would always wander around looking for the next firefight or looking for something else. If Uncharted started off as an open world game, then I think nobody would have a problem with it because that's what they would be expecting. The first game sets the precedent. But now you have a role-playing game, and Final Fantasy XIII is a great example for this. Final Fantasy XIII just continued to keep pushing you from point A to point B to point C, and it wasn't really until Chapter 11 when it really opened up that it started to feel like a role-playing game. So if you're not careful, you could end up changing the type of feel of a genre by being too linear. And with my Uncharted Grand Theft Auto or Uncharted open world example, you can do the same thing by making it less linear. Almost BB asks, do you think the Vita or the 3DS will succeed? Why? Actually, I just read an article or looked at a chart just now about the Nintendo 3DS being the fastest. No, being the system to sell the fastest to 5 million units. So we already know the 3DS is succeeding. Now, will it have that same success here in the United States? I don't know. I'm hopeful. It had a very rocky start, and we all know why. For one, it released in the spring, and systems never really do that good in the spring. And for two, the price was just more than people wanted to pay. And we all saw the turnaround when they dropped the price down. I think that the software lineup is starting to get better. Resident Evil Revelations is a game that I really, really want to get. But right now I'm busy with the Vita, and I got some other expenses coming up in the next few months, so I'm probably going to end up waiting until I can get it for real cheap. Tales of the Abyss just came out, and so that's starting to appeal to the role-playing fans. But unfortunately, it's a port of the PlayStation 2 game, and it's something that's not really new and original. So I think one of the areas that Nintendo really needs to focus on if they want to have any success with the 3DS is to get that role-playing game genre, or to get that role-playing genre covered. And as far as the Vita, it is too early to tell. I'm just going to have to wait a year, and then I can make an assessment based on the numbers and what kind of games have come out. But I'm hoping it's going to be a success. I still kind of think that the PSP was a success. It wasn't the amount of success that Sony wanted, but for what the PSP could do, I really enjoyed it. And right now I enjoy the Vita, so I'm hoping that I can continue to enjoy the Vita as time goes on. TAMK Fan asks, seeing as a new TOU has been in place for a while now, what are your thoughts on it? What is your favorite fighting game series and your favorite characters from that series? And how long could you see yourself continuing to be a gamer? These multiple question askers. My thoughts on terms of use is it provides a lot of people with that extra freedom that people wanted, but it's a double-edged sword. It's one of those cases where you can't appeal to everybody because you make one group of people happy, then the other group gets pissed off. So a lot of people have really enjoyed the new freedom that they have. They don't have to worry about stepping on eggshells when they're debating in Off Topic and System Wars, which those two forums got a lot of people in trouble in. But then you have the other people out there who are just trying to argue civilly, and all of a sudden they're met with just these, flaming comments, and they're being trolled left and right, and nothing can be done about it because it's now allowed. Personally, I'm for freedom of expression, and if it makes more people happy, then I think that it's a good thing. And I think the number of people that are happy because of these new changes outweigh the number of people who are upset about them. So, my favorite fighting game series, man, it's hard to say. I guess I would have to say Tekken, even though I haven't played it in so long. It's one of those games where I really enjoyed playing it in a single player and just, trying out everybody's moves and seeing the end, the ending storylines and other things like that. And as I said earlier, Nina is one of my favorite characters from the Tekken series. And how long I could see myself as a gamer until I get arthritis or die. I'm one of those gamers who will game until, like I said, I get arthritis or die. I don't really have a problem with, being viewed as a creepy 73-year-old man who's, shut into his house, playing PlayStation 7 and screaming up obscenities at, children who are knocking on my door. It's just one of those things I just love to do, and I can't see myself ever stopping. Okay, next is Goggle 1. Favorite movie? Spaceballs. Best game you've ever played? It's too hard to answer. As of recently, Uncharted 2. Worst game you've ever played? That goes back to the Xbox. There was a Bruce Lee game out for it. I can't remember exactly what it was called, and it just drove me to the brink of tears. It gave me a headache, and it was just a really horrible game. I'd just rather not try to remember it. Thank you very much, Goggle1, for bringing up repressed memories. Favorite gaming moment of 2011? That's hard. I would have to say reliving Shadow of Colossus and Eco in the high-definition collection for the PlayStation 3. Gaming moment I'm most looking forward to in 2012, if you've been paying attention, The Last Guardian. I'm really waiting for that game to come out. Nothing else matters, in my opinion. Rocker6 asks, what are your thoughts on PC gaming? Feel free to say anything, even if they're extremely negative. I'm curious to what a long-time gamer such as yourself thinks. Well, anybody who knows me knows that I don't really follow PC gaming. It's not that I have anything against it. It's just, for one, I just don't like the thought of having to keep track of system specs. If there's a new game that's going to come out, I'd rather just not research it and see, I need to get this graphics chip, or I need to increase my memory, or all this other stuff. And even if I get a new game, I don't like adjusting with the settings to try to make it run as stable as I can. I just prefer, the pop in and play style of console and handheld games. I would love to have a gaming PC, but it's just one of those things I don't want to spend the time on. Enreal asks, can you use a 3G Vita as a cell phone? No. And this is something that Sony should address, because they could have also tapped into the handheld, or to the cell phone mobile gaming industry if they turned the Vita into a phone. They're already charging people data plans of like $40 a month, which is ridiculous. AT&T could have also, worked with Sony, and they could start making money off of, minutes, and I think that would have been, a real success, really something that they should have done. Then his second question is, what's the meaning of life? 42. Travel Basic asks, why did you leave the unions? The unions, I just lost interest in them. As you can tell from my post count, it's not having that jump every single week like it used to. And one of the things I used to do was I would post in unions, and it was basically the only real reason why I did that is, to shamelessly pad my post count, and, I just lost interest in them. Sandolph29 asks, how do you like your sandwiches? I like them hot. I like them hot and grilled. Johnny300 asks, how is the Vita? Is it worth a day one buy? Yeah, you can watch my Vita Impressions video blog, if you want more information. But basically, I'm really happy with the Vita. I have no regrets. If I could go back and try to wait for the cheaper Wi-Fi model instead of, paying the extra for the first edition bundle, I think I probably would have done the same thing, because I did get a nice carrying case out of it, and just being able to enjoy it a week before everybody else and share my experiences is kind of worth the extra price, in my opinion. Steel Rain 777 asks, besides gaming and GS, what do you do in your spare time? I watch movies, I listen to music, I'm trying to read more, but it seems like every time I read I fall asleep. That's pretty much my main hobbies. I like to write about video games and like to, share my thoughts, and also like to do video blogs now that I'm doing it again. So, yeah, those are my other hobbies. How do you feel about mobile iPhone gaming? I think it's going to be ruining handheld gaming in general, to be honest, because people are starting to expect less quality gameplay for a smaller, price. Because take a look at Angry Birds and see how successful that has been. Angry Birds is shallow, and the only reason why it's so addictive is because it's so simple, and the characters are really charming, and of course it's cheap. And you can even see the negative influence that mobile gaming has through Mark Walton's article that he wrote about the spending a month with a Vita and how disappointed he is in it. He made a comment talking about how the games need to be cheaper in price, and how they're going up against, the mobile gaming industry, where everything is, easily downloadable and easy to play, doesn't require, a lot of buttons and all this other stuff. And I just think that's not where handheld gaming should be. There's a distinct line, in my opinion, between handheld gaming and mobile gaming. You're going to have the people who just want cheap time killers, mobile gaming. You're going to want people who want substantial gameplay experiences like what the Vita can offer, handheld gaming. There should always be that solid line. They should never blur together. And also, like Rocker 6, what are your thoughts on PC gaming in its future? Just see my question that I answered him. Randolph asks a second question, are you wearing any pants in your videos? I hate wearing pants. I'm always a shorts person. The only time you'll catch me wearing pants is when it's like negative 50 out and it's blizzard, snowing heavily, and an extreme wind chill factor. Tennis 12 Master asks, the questions I have already been asked earlier, so I'll just leave a comment. I'm liking the video blogs. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you. Gamer of Mario 1 asks, how did you come up with your username? This goes back to like 2000, 99 or 2000, probably even later than that. It's one of those things where you used to be able to change your username whenever you wanted. So what I ended up doing was I started to change my username every 2 weeks. I was always coming up with something random, something silly, and then I couldn't think of anything else to do. So I was like, how about I'm just playing Lucas? I'm just gonna name myself Lucas. But then all of a sudden I was like, just plain Lucas sounds better, and so that's what I did. Nunchuck28 asks more questions. Favorite video game soundtracks? That would be the Super Adventure Island soundtrack. I've always loved that. I have that on my my iPod, and it's one of those things where back in the day it was like one of the best soundtracks I ever heard because it sounded like real music. Have you ever seen the Super Mario Bros. Live movie? If so, what did you think of it? No, I never have seen it, and I don't think I ever want to. Mind naming some of your favorite games this gen? Let's see. There's, of course, the Uncharted 2. There's Gears of War. Gears of War 3. Actually, the whole Gears of War series. I really love it. And even though this isn't really fair, the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection, as far as like handheld games, even though I didn't really score it that high, I still really enjoyed Golden Sun, Dark Dawn. And then there's like Super Mario Land 3, Super Mario 3D Land? That was really good. And then the Luminous Electronic Symphony, really enjoying it. It's really exciting, really addictive. Let's see, where am I at? Shadow of Sonic. Love Skyrim? Believe it or not, I haven't played it yet. I don't even have it. And I know it kind of seems like a sin, considering every gaming person and a grandmother should be playing Skyrim. It's just one of those things where there was so much coming out around that time that I didn't really have the money and especially I didn't have the time for it, because I lost about 200 to 300 hours of my life to Oblivion, and I just didn't have any amount of time to put towards Skyrim, so I put it off. Plus, knowing Bethesda, they really love to, make their Game of the Year editions like a month, or it's like 9 or 10 months later, and then they include all the downloadable content and all the other stuff for the same price. So I'm probably going to end up waiting for something like that. Are the buttons on the Vita clicky like the 3DS? Well, let's do a sound comparison. Okay, so here's the 3DS. And let's see if we can hear the clicking. Can't really hear much clicking. Then here is the Vita. And they're about the same. My favorite Zelda? Definitely not Skyward Sword. I hate that game so much. I would almost say a tie between A Link to the Past and The Minish Cap. Even though Ocarina of Time was loved, even though I love it, I'm sort of a traditionalist when it comes to Zelda games, and I really do prefer to play them in their old 16-bit and handheld fashion. And he also asks, video game that's underrated. There's so many ways I could go with this, but I'm just going to pick out Mirror's Edge, for example. And the reason why I say that Mirror's Edge is underrated is because of how it was reviewed here at GameSpot. And I'm not usually the type of person to argue tooth and nail about a GameSpot's score of a game, but I really think that Kevin Van Ord got it wrong. I think he reviewed it as 7 or 7.0 or something, but his biggest slam against the game was that he was playing it as a shooter, and it's not really a shooter. Yes, it has guns in it, and yes, you can shoot the guns, but that doesn't make it a shooter. So he also kind of knocked the fact that there was a lot of trial and error. Well, heaven forbid that he have to try again. I remember back when you used to start playing games and you'd die a lot. You try again and you learn from your mistakes and you would get better. So I think that was kind of a harsh complaint against it. I personally think that Mirror's Edge is one of the best games of its genre for what it can do, for its take on the visuals and other things like that, for its parkour gameplay. I just think that it's an amazing game. It's very unique, and it just doesn't really receive the amount of praise that it really should have. And I'm also kind of annoyed by the fact that DICE continues to make war games instead of making the Mirror's Edge 2, which they really need to do. So, moving on to the next question. Oh, it's Shadow of Sonic again. He asked me about that racist video. So if you haven't seen the video, go down to his comment and paste the URL, or paste a link into your URL to view it. But basically it's a comment about, it looks like an Elder Scrolls game or something like that. I'm not too sure what game it's taken from. But basically the player is going around killing this one black person in so many different ways, and then there's this song that comes on. But personally, I don't really think that it's racist. I think it's more of a parody, kind of a satire type of thing, and I just don't think that it's one of those things you should really look that closely into. If you view it as racist, then you really need to learn how to laugh more. That's what I'm going to say on that. TT Dog asks, what's the best controller you've ever used? Kind of a cross between the Wavebird for the GameCube, and that was a wireless controller, and the Controller S for the old Xbox. They were, in my opinion, some of the most comfortable controllers that I've used. The only thing that I have against GameCube controllers is, of course, the god-awful D-pad. QoS MSTR, if there's a way to pronounce that, please let me know. He asks, wanted to know what you thought about the extra stick on the Vita and how it feels when you have to press buttons. Okay, the one thing I'm going to show you is how ridiculously close this right analog stick is to the face buttons. And that took me a little while to get used to, because I found myself pressing the analog stick instead of the X button. But it didn't take me that long to really get used to it. It just feels kind of weird because, you know, my brain is still saying, oh, you're playing a PSP, there's no right stick there. So, anyway. Funkadella Chica asks, will you buy me lots and lots of presents? No, sorry. I love you, but no. Xenosaga is best ever, right? Right? I agree. Yeah, Xenosaga was amazing. For those that you don't know, my AOL username is Joachim Mizrahi X, and Joachim Mizrahi came from Xenosaga. He was one of the scientists. And the reason why I really love Xenosaga is because it was a fantastic story. It just had amazing cutscenes. It was, in fact, they had so many cutscenes, it was called the Metal Gear Solid of the role-playing games, because you really watched it more than you played it. But I didn't really have a problem with that because the story was just so damn good. Anyway, let me move on. I'm sure that this is getting up into the 20-minute mark. Gaming Planet asks me my reaction to a video that he's given me. Oh boy, I haven't even watched it. I'm sorry, Gaming Planet. I should have looked to see. I didn't see your comment earlier, so I should have double-checked before I started this video. Hopefully it's not long. No! No, 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 no. No, no, no. I will not watch any My Little Pony. Forget that. Forget it. Forget it. I hate you so much. You know what? Here. This is for you. You get 2 of them. That's how much I hate you right now. Anyway, thanks all for watching.